guys, what it do? So what triggered me to have this video today is, first of all, on Sunday we didn't attend church, so we watched Joel Osteen on the TV. And Joel Osteen had a lecture that I felt like was talking directly to me. The lecture was like, you know, a woman that's waiting on a baby, and you know, a woman that's, you know, and he just kept on talking about the whole baby thing. And I was just like, okay, does he know? Why my thing look kind of crooked here, huh? But anyway, I was like, how does he know what to talk about today, you know? And so, excuse me. So anyway, he was basically saying how, you know, there was a woman went through a whole bunch of IVF and went through all that stuff. It failed. She didn't know what was going on, why she couldn't get pregnant, and you know, all of a sudden she just started, you know, believing and praying and just, you know, putting everything and bringing everything into existence, and you know, she ended up getting pregnant, and not once but twice. And so then he was just talking about the people in the Bible and stuff, and he was talking about not the people but the women in the Bible that did have trouble conceiving and stuff, you know, and he talked about that. And it was just a really good, because I could relate. You know how sometimes you go to church or you hear a sermon and you just leave empty. I didn't even attend church, and I listened to him, and I felt like, you know, he was talking directly to me. You know, not saying that I'm lacking anything, but before my cup runs empty, I'm like back there, you know, I'm back where it needs to be, I'm back full. And it was a really good sermon, and basically he was just saying, speak, which I feel like I do this already in a sense, but anyway, he was like, speak, speak as if you're bringing it into existence, if that makes sense. So he was kind of like, say, I'm springing my baby, I'm springing this, I'm springing, like everything's just springing. And it was a really good sermon. And if you can go back, it was the sermon that he just did on this Sunday. So if you have like where you can go, you know, on demand or somewhere and look at that one, it's a very good you know, sermon, inspirational speech, whatever you want to call it. It hit the nail on the head. Like, it was a very good sermon and stuff, you know. And you know, thanking him for that baby, thanking God for that baby before you even get pregnant, you know, thanking, and also, you know, buying the things, you know, buying stuff, you know, for your baby. And just go ahead and start, you know, like I do, I start purchasing stuff. Like, I'm still, you know, buying things. I've been getting LeBron stuff out the way for school, so I didn't buy anything, of course, but I been, you know, of course I've bought stuff before, and now that I'm, you know, pretty much almost done getting all his stuff that I need to get, I'm gonna start buying some more stuff or whatever. Everything's gonna be kind of gender neutral, even though I do, you know, have my preference of what I want, of like every other woman at a certain time, but I am gonna be doing gender neutral, gray and white, gray and white, gray and white, gray and white and stuff. So anywho, that's enough about the sermon. So now that brings me to, how about on, I think it was either Sunday or Monday. It was Monday, I think. And it was on the 29th. Maybe that wasn't Monday. What was the 29th? What's today? Wednesday. So it was Monday. So anyway, Monday, I'm at home, and I actually was feeling bad on Monday. And I mean, feeling bad, I mean kind of like sick, like wasn't feeling good. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, I had every symptom of pregnancy except I wasn't throwing up. But like, I was very nauseous, my appetite, I was hungry, I mean everything. I'm just like, okay, what's going on? So anyway, I was laying on the couch, and I was just so tired. I was just like, oh, I'm so exhausted, I'm hungry too, I feel nauseous. So anyway, I haven't watched Lifetime or Ellen Men in a long time. So I turned the TV on, and there's this movie that's called No Ordinary Baby, and I'm looking at my TV to give you the correct, you know, information. But anyway, No Ordinary Baby, and basically, now this isn't quite the same, but it is the same. And the movie was that the couple child, I think her name was Katie, had passed away, and they wanted to have her back, these doctors they knew how to do like IVF and stuff. However, she wanted that particular child back. So what they did was they did research and study on doing a clone, where they took a little bit of her DNA and then put it into the embryo. So basically it's not like her exact, but it has her DNA, which part of her DNA genetic makeup, to make her almost like her own twin in a sense, instead of being identical or instead of being her exact. So anyway, I watched it, you know, and you know, I sat there and I questioned myself, like, was that something that I would do? And I feel like in that moment, when you're holding your deceased child at that moment, I feel like it would have been, yes, I want my baby back, this and the third, you know, and just not thinking, you know, that, you know, that how it looks or how it sounds. And then when you think about it, you just kind of like, you know, that is kind of creepy to kind of want that same genetic or DNA into the next child to make her or him almost identical to the last. I don't know. Then I start thinking like that's kind of, it seems like it's kind of weird. I mean, I'm not put in that situation right now, so right now I'm like, nah, I wouldn't do it. But I feel like at the time when my daughters passed away, or when they were passing, I feel like at that time I probably would have said, yeah, I probably like these parents here. Anyway, that brings me to my next thing. So after watching that, and it was kind of based on a true story, so after reading that, I said, let's go to history. You know, I've never went as far as looking up the first IVF case, the first IVF success, who invented this, what year was it invented, how was the timing and all of this, you know, because God knew that I was gonna have this journey, you know, because I used to always say that I have an old soul. I used to say that I should have been born in the you know, early mid 70s. I used to feel like that should have been where I was born, because I love old music. I love, you know, vintage and antique items. I love, you know, just that era, just the 70s. Like I love that. You know, I love the 80s, don't get me wrong, but the 70s to me was more just so united and so chill mode, you know, and stuff like that. So anyway, back to this real quick. So anyway, I was researching, where is my stuff? Okay, so I'm not sure if you know, but if you do know, hey, you should have taught me. But anyway, I was like, you know what, it's time. After, you know, since I've been going through IVF since 2014, and I've been going through just this whole fertility stuff, this not knowing what's going on in my body, you know, this and the third, since 2008. Okay, problems with periods and everything else since 2000 wait, no, not 2019, 1997, 98, something like that. But anyway, you know, so it's been a journey on its own. Just the whole reproductive department, it's just been a journey. My whole half of my life, pretty much from 14 on up, you know. So anyway, I was like, you know what, let me get some information. So if you don't know, then here's some history behind all of this here. So Robert Edwards went to University of Cambridge. He was a professor. He did pass away. He passed away, I believe it was in 2013. He's known as the father of in vitro fertilization. He was 87 years old when he died. However, he was the one, along with the other gynecologist Patrick Steptoe. So Robert Edwards and Patrick Steptoe were the first to enable a woman to give birth using in vitro fertilization. That was 35 years ago, but that was in 2013. So about almost 38 years ago. 38 years ago, y'all. Just 38. Only 38 years. So to be honest with you, like the oldest IVF baby is no older than 38 years old. And it kind of, you know, almost made me emotional, because I thought, wow, God said, okay, God already knew what my journey was going to be. He knew, okay, you know, her part of her struggle, what she's going to go through, and how she's going to help other people is going to be through this infertility journey. And if I would have been born in the 70s, like I said, I wanted to be, you know, I feel like I should have been born in the 70s, which I don't go on making mistakes, but you know, just the feel of it. If I would have had the same struggle in the 70s, there's no way that I would have been able to, number one, afford it, because number one, you know, it wasn't like insurance was offered, you know, it's just been put into books recently. Number two, the cost of it, you know, at that time, I'm sure was well over my means, you know. So then at that, you know, it's like, that was about 5 years. Let me see, 70, what year was it? 9, 8, 81, 82, 83. So 5, yeah. So 5 years, 5 years before I was born. 5 years before I was born. 5 years before I was born. And I say everything goes together. 5 years before I was born. 5 years is when IVF was invented and created and successfully done. 5 years before I was born, y'all. 5 years before I was born. I am so thankful and so grateful to these doctors, because they opened the door to all these other doctors to be able to learn this technique, learn it, master it, and learn it and master it even more so than Dr. Edwards, I believe, Dr. Edwards. I wish I would have known this back before he passed away, because I genuinely would love to say thank you so much. I mean, you know, I know one fine day when I go on to glory, I'll be able to, you know, say thank you, but I thank God so much for that opportunity that he was granted, you know. And you know how, like, when people say they want to abort and have abortions, and there was somebody that made a comment one time that said, you aborting that baby, that can be the baby that creates a cure, which there are cures for cancer and stuff, which there's other doctors that have came up with it, that, I don't know, it's just a crazy world. But anyway, that could be the child that grows up to have a cure for A, B, C, or D. That could be the child that discovers X, Y, and Z. So when there's people out there that's thinking about aborting, I feel like you go through your 9 months, you have that child, give that child away, you know, give that child to a couple that can raise that child. You know, that way, if that child was purposely meant to be here for whatever reason, you know, and you never notice too, when a lot of people give their child up for adoption, you ever see like these shows where they're the best singers, they're the best sports player, you know, like athletes, they're the best pianists, they're the best of every, like whatever it is, they are the best. It's like they were destined to be what, I don't know. I don't know. It's like I see so many. But anywho, basically it's just so amazing to know that 1978 was the year that the first, you know, IVF baby was successfully conceived and or implanted and then, you know, born. Just to know that that person is just 30, it hadn't even made 40. Like, you know how, like, that's just right there. Like, that's just right there. Like, and over 30 years, just about 30 something years, here we are, women left and right getting pregnant through this awesome scientific technique. You know, and back in the day they used to call them test tube babies. And do you know when he first did his first IVF for giving the, you know, getting the embryos, he used a jar. He didn't use like a petri dish little thing. He used a jar. Like I said, this technique ushered in a new era of fertility treatments that resulted in births of millions of babies. Like that's so awesome. Like, I don't know. But anyway, the first person, just really quickly, her name was Leslie Brown. She had blockage in her fallopian tubes that left her infertile to carry and give birth to a baby girl, which I don't understand that part. Louise, the world's first test tube baby, was born in England in July of 1978, and they say it was actually a glass jar rather than a test tube, in which Louise spent her earliest hours. Louise's mother, Leslie, gave birth to another daughter using IVF a few years later. Leslie died in June at the age of 64, and it must have been in 2013 as well. So anyway, I thought it was kind of cute too. I was reading the couples wanting so bad to have children, and they said the most important thing in life is having children, and that's what made them want to go on and do this. You know, and of course they you know, they got bashed and, you know, all kind of stuff. And they pointed out many embryos created in the petri dish but never transferred to the womb were simply washed down the sink. So basically, you know, that's how they discarded them back in the day and so forth. But I thought that was a very good, you know, many tiny babies have been lost in the process or remain in limbo of unused embryos created by IVF. Now they remain frozen in fertility clinics. So praise God that I don't know who was the person that invented the freezing, but thank you. Because I mean, think about it, you know, yes, I got pregnant successfully with the girls, but see, the first month when I did my retrieval, I was going into ovarian hyperstimulating or something like that. But anyway, I was overstimulated in my ovaries, and I could not do a fresh transfer, which nowadays they have done research, and they're thinking that that frozen is better than fresh. Don't quote me on that, but I've seen a lot of research. I've seen a lot of statistics that state that it is better. So when I did that, just think, if I wouldn't have been able to do it fresh at that time, then my embryos would have been just a waste, because there would have been no freezing. So thank you for that as well. Like, I just thank God for putting these doctors through college, letting them get the experience, you know, and I sit back and see how lazy I am when it comes to going to school. Like, I cannot stand school. Me personally, like, I went to school 10 years in college, and I just wanted to get done. At the end, I was just like, let me just get out of here. Like, I'm so tired of this school. Like, I was so tired, and I don't never get tired of learning, but I was just getting tired of the routine of getting up in the morning, going to work, going to school, having to come home, having to, you know, do everything at home, and it was just too much. So I was just like, man. So I just really thank God that he picked the right doctors to go through the educational process. There's some doctors that went to school longer than me, you know, and I thank them for doing that, because without them, if it would have been another Quisha out there, she would have been like, you know, like Quisha would have been like, you know. So anyway, but I just wanted to come to y'all and give y'all this information. Next video, I'm gonna have some very exciting news. Oh, a little bit about the insurance really quick. They finally gave me back my other half of my $250, so I got the whole $500 back for my embryo storage fee. So that was completed and everything, so yay! And stuff like that. So I'm very excited about that part. And what else? I think that was pretty much it. But anyway, so yeah, so like I said, next video I should have some very exciting news to share with y'all. So I hope y'all stay tuned, and I just thank y'all so much for hanging in and everything. Thanks to all my new subbies. Welcome aboard. You would not be disappointed. We like to have fun. We like to enjoy ourselves on this channel. The community that we're in, we love one another. We support one another. We try our best to empower each other and to kind of keep everyone going. So thank you so much for every, you know, powerful encouragement post Thank you so much for that. Thank you for sharing my video. Those of you that's been sharing it on social media, thank you so much. I've met a lot of nice or more nice ladies that's joined the, you know, the journey and the channel. Just thank y'all so much. You know, thank you for sticking by me. Have a wonderful weekend. Today, what did I say? Did I say today? Today is the 30th of September. So when I mean September, the 30th of the 31st. Oh shoot, the 31st of August. What is going on with me? The 31st of August. And I hope y'all have a wonderful weekend, a wonderful Labor Day. If I don't speak to any of y'all, wonderful weekend, and a wonderful beginning of September, y'all. It's almost time for fall. I love fall. That's my favorite season. I just love it. And of course I was born in the fall. So so anyway, like I said, with some very exciting new videos coming up. I hope y'all enjoy everything. If you have been watching, you have not subscribed, click the like button and the subscribe button and the share button all at the same time. And then come again. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
Oh man, I worked hard.
You ain't do nothing.
I worked hard, y'all.
You just stand up.
Yeah, me and LeBron did all of the work.
Just stand up. Just stand up.
You know? Okay, well for later, because you will be